everyone and welcome to my channel. Now today we're going to be talking about some haunted places in the world. Now let's just get straight into this video. Number one on here is Eastern State Penitentiary, Pennsylvania, United States. Actually really want to go there. Built in 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary is a former prison in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's known for being the very first prison of its kind to introduce solitary confinement, or what they used to call the Pennsylvania system. So I'm really bad at reading. Prisoners were sent to solitary during this time as a form of rehab. I'll say rehab. They would be completely isolated, living alone, eating alone, and even exercising alone in their own individual yards. Whenever an inmate left his cell, a black hood would be placed over his head to assure he remained in confinement. Wow. Due to Eastern State's harsh approach, many prisoners were drove to insanity, and as a result, the Pennsylvania system was scrapped in 1913. In 1913. What did I say? I don't even know. From then until 1970, it was used as a regular prison and held the likes of Al Capone and the bank robber Willie Sutter. Reports of the paranormal have been going on since the 1940s, but ever since the stone prison was abandoned in 1971, paranormal experiences have seemingly increased. Reports include shadowy figures that seem to quickly turn away when approached, a dark figure that is occasionally seen in the guard tower, an evil crackling issued coming from cell block 12. Shadowy figures have been seen sliding down walls in cell block 6. Wow, that's scary. Ghostly faces have been witnessed in cell block 4. And strange sounds such as disembodied footsteps, distant talking and banging on cell doors have also been heard. Okay, that sounds interesting. I'd love to go there. Like, that's one of the places I want to investigate. The next one is Waverly Hill Sanatorium in Kentucky, United States. You'll find that a lot of these are in the US. Waverly Hills was originally a two-storey wooden building that was opened in 1910. However, the building you see today was constructed in 1926. It served as a tuberculosis hospital throughout the early to mid 20th century, a time where the disease was at its worst. It's believed that as many as 63,000 patients died there. The death toll, as well as the supposed mistreatment and questionable experimental procedures on patients, are all recipes that may be behind one of the most haunted buildings in the whole of the US. The Waverly Hills Sanatorium has built quite the reputation over the years, as more and more people are allowed to investigate the premises. This has thrown up some incredible evidence over the years. It has features on shows such as Ghost Adventures, my favourite, Ghost Hunters, and our very own Most Haunted, which I love. TAPS captured, that's Ghost Hunters TAPS, captured a figure on their thermal imaging camera that seemed to be walking across the hall. The figure was about 3 foot tall. They later found out that the ghost of a young boy named Tim had been spotted there before. There are vast amounts of varying reports, including full-bodied apparitions, fleeting shadows, screams from empty rooms, footsteps, sudden cold spots, and disembodied voices, among many others. The next one is Monte Cristo Homestead in New South Wales, Australia. Historic Monte Cristo Homestead in June, is it? I don't know. New South Wales is regarded as the most haunted location in Australia. Its reputation is believed to stem from the amount of tragic events that have occurred there since it was built in 1885. From the time of its construction up to 1948, the Crawley family owned and resided in the property. During this time, the family laid witness to many deaths, including the tragic death of a young child who was dropped down the stairs. A maid to the family is believed to have fallen from the balcony and a stable boy apparently burned to death on the property. There was also a mentally ill man named Harold, the son of the caretaker, who was chained up in the caretaker's cottage for 40 years. He was found curled up next to the body of his dead mother and sent to a mental institute, where he died shortly after. The tragedy doesn't end with the Crawleys. After the house was left in 1948, it was taken over by a group of caretakers, one of whom was murdered in the caretaker's cottage. Castle of Good Hope, Cape Town, South Africa. I don't think I've actually shared this place, so let's read it and see what happens. The Castle of Good Hope in Cape Town, South Africa was built in the 17th century by the Dutch East India Company. It's the country's oldest colonial building, originally serving as a replenishment station for ships passing the treacherous waters of the Cape. The first report of paranormal occurrence was when the apparition of a tall gentleman was seen in 1915 on one of the castle's ramparts. The man wasn't seen again until 1947. That's a long time that he wasn't seen. One of the most popular stories associated with the castle is of the former governor Pieter Gilbert van Noot. Well, I can't read, guys. He died on 23rd of April 1728, the same day he had sentenced to death. The same day he had sentenced to death oh right, okay, I thought he got sentenced to death. No, he didn't. He sentenced 7 soldiers who were caught attempting to desert their military. It's believed one of the soldiers placed a curse on him and demanded he came to watch the execution, which he didn't. Later that day, Van Noot I don't know why I find it so funny how I say it. Van Noot I don't know. Was found dead, slouched over his desk with a look of terror on his face. Ooh. Another famous haunting is of the Lady in Grey. She has been witnessed running through the castle, holding her face and crying hysterically. However, since the woman's body was found during recent excavations, her ghost hasn't been reported. Oh, that's nice though to know. She's moved on. Sometime in the 1700s, a soldier was found hanging from the bell rope in the bell tower, which overlooks the entrance to the castle. After his death, the bell tower was sealed off. However, to this day, the bell has been known to strike off its own accord. There's also the ghost of the black dog who has been to pounce on unsuspecting visitors, then simply vanish into thin air. The Tower of London. I wonder where that is. With a history of torture and execution going back over 900 years, the Tower of London is regarded by many as one of the most haunted places in the UK. I think Chillingham Castle is also up there as well, isn't it? I believe, anyway. It was originally built in the 1078 by William the Conqueror and has served a major role in the history of England ever since. There have been many reports of the paranormal at the Tower of London over the years. The most famous of all the spirits that live within the walls is Anne Boleyn? Dunno. The wife of Ken? Who's Ken? King Henry the 8th. She was beheaded in 1536 and her headless body has been seen walking the tower's corridors, and often near the spot of a demise. Other full-bodied apparitions have also been included. Lady Jane Grey, I've heard about this one, who was spotted by a guardsman in 1957 in the White Tower, and the White Lady has been seen often standing at a window, where she once stood waving to her children on the other side of the building. Perhaps the most spine-chilling of all the reports includes the mysterious appearance of 2 children. They have been witnessed throughout the rooms of the castle. They are often seen in their nightgowns, holding hands and with a look of terror on their faces. It is believed these are 2 former princes who were sent to the tower after they were demeaned illegitimate by Parliament. They vanished one day and it was assumed that they were murdered by one of their uncle, the Duke of Gloucester. I can never say that place. Gloucester. Apparently 2 small skeletons were exhumed beneath a staircase in the White Tower. Ooh, so that's all I'm doing for this video. There will be a part 2 with 11, so there should have been 10 in this one and 11 in the other one. So if you did it, whoa, that lighting changed. But if you did enjoy it, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!